Oh, everybody, hello. Let me get this sorted out. There we go. Let me check the old live stream on my laptop as well. There we go. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to part 7 of the Napoleonic live. I am just checking the sound. There it goes. Of the Napoleonic live. Lovely. Okie dokie. So today I wanted to do several things. Hopefully we're going to get these bad boys based. Now I've got some unusual basing here. I want it to be a bit more rocky. I want it to look a bit more Spanish. I also wanted to do a very quick review of these two. I've had some very generous donations recently, so I felt that I should use some of that money, and I sprung for the 2 volumes of the Spanish Men-at-Arms book. I did already have this one. We had the old one, but with it now being 2 volumes, there's obviously a lot more in there. And I have to say, it is very inspirational, very inspiring. So I'm a huge fan of these. Really good. Would highly recommend. Now, something that I was unsure about in the first book was the collars. This one is from the Principe Infantry Regiment. You can see his collar is white. Now that looks a little bit strange to me. On the box art of the Warlord Games box, they do have collars that match their facings. So I am going to leave them white as per the Osprey, because it's easier to paint that way. I'm not going to lie. But no, I've really enjoyed looking at these 2 books. Unfortunately, the downside of getting them, it's always the case with these things, it now means that I want to get a full army instead of just La Romana's division. So, yes, buyer beware when it comes to getting the Ospreys, because you will want to get your own army of them. That's always the problem I have when doing the deep dives into different armies. I always finish those deep dives, and I really want to collect that army. So that's the main problem that I have with those. So today we are looking at basing. Hello guys. Hello Jakob or Jacob. Hello Kodos to Henka. Good evening. James, nice to see you, brother. So we're pretty much done with these guys. I can still see his moustache hasn't been done, so we can quickly grab that. Where are we? This is the wrong brush. Never mind. There we go. There we are. There's my little drying roll. There we are. So today what I thought we'd do is we will do some work on these guys. We get these based. So that's nice. I've not done the brass on them. So I might, I didn't bring one up with me. Let's see if I've got one lying around. I might do. Hang on. Nope. Nope. So I'll probably base them, and then I'll go back in and we'll do the brass for all the stuff that we can see / get to. So good evening, Martin. Evening, Glenn. Nice to see you guys. So we'll get these guys based. And then I've got to work on these guys. Now, I've still got the officer drummer, 2 fusiliers, and 2 grenadiers to do, because they wouldn't fit on the painting stand. Now, one of the fusiliers I can bin off, so I'm only going to have these 5 to do. So it's certainly not the end of the world. Now, for the grenadiers, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to have. And I'm going to base these guys on 6s. Now, the Spanish infantry, they do come with a set of plastic bases, which is really good. These are 40mm square. Now, I actually think, now I think about it, I wasn't going to base these on large bases, was I? So, hang on. Here we go. I've got some smaller bases here, so we can use those. We might have to use a couple of those as well. So that's no problemo. So yes, I normally base on a 20mm frontage, but these Spanish are quite slight. So I was planning on doing these on a 15mm frontage, and it'll give me. I can say also it's in honor of General Andy, who used to base his on a 15mm frontage. So, well, hang on, they're 20mm square, aren't they? Right, bear with me 2 seconds. I am just going to go get some more bases. Right, sorry about that, guys. It's also allowed me to get my my brass as well, so not necessarily the worst mistake in the world. So, yes, so I'm going to use these ones. These are the bases that come in the Perry box sets, and they are 40mm deep, 45mm frontage. So, despite the Spanish figures being a bit small, it should hopefully pack them a little closer together, and they won't look as small. So that's the important thing. Hello, Clive. Nice to see you, brother. Looking at your symbol there, being the Ukrainian flag, reminded me of all the comments that we got for the Catch-a-Bra game with the was it Brunswick flag that's the same as the Ukrainian one? Right, so here we go. This base here, this is a 60mm by 40mm base. So we can see there's 5mm over the end there, but it's 40mm deep. So that's absolutely perfect. I'm going to start off with the Fusiliers. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is the material these are made out of, the one that I call Restec, but I know it isn't, is if I just pull them off, I'm really worried that I'm either going to bend the figure and the paint's going to flake off, or I may even just snap them at the ankles. So practicing excellent knife safety here. There we go. So I'm just gently prizing them off with the blade, really. I'm not necessarily cutting them off. I'm just prizing them off like so. Put that there. So what's everyone working on tonight? Anything going on? Some of you may not know, actually, that we've got our next in our 100 days campaign coming up. So at the end of this month, end of May, stay tuned for a whole weekend live stream of the Battle of Linney. So I know a lot of the guys are busily painting up Prussians for that. I'm painting up my commander. I'm going to keep it under wraps who that is for now. But I'm painting up his command base. And I'm also going to get some more command groups because we're making it battalions of 24. And because I normally have battalions of 36, I'm going to buy some more command groups. And that's going to let us get more units out of the figures I've got. So what I'm just doing here is I'm just arranging them. So I've not got the same pose twice in the same row or directly behind each other. So there we go. So I think that works there. Actually, no, these two are the same pose, aren't they? So let's swap those two out. There we go. I like this figure marching forward. So he can go in the front. Oh dear, hang on. Yeah, so there we go. I'm actually going to swap those two round, because with the two arms across themselves like that, they do look quite similar. So there we go. So that's how I'm going to base these. Now you can use super glue or you can use PVA glue. I'm hopefully going to use super glue. Let me see if I can. Hang on. Blimey, it's been a long time since I used this pot. Right, let's have a go. Now it's this Restex stuff to plastic. That's why I'm using the super glue rather than PVA glue. I also find it gives a stronger bond as well. I've not used this super glue in quite a while, so I'm hoping that it's not dried out. It might have done. Nope, there we are. It's gone quite gel-like. That's okay. There we are. So that's 6 blobs. I'll pop that so it's facing up like that. Right, so we can get these guys on. Now, I'd normally recommend when you're doing 6s like this, not to have them in a straight line, but to have one of them either forward or back, then the other two obviously in the opposite way of that. So you make 2 little little wedges, basically. There we go. I can see the thickness of the, I don't know really what you can call it, the plinth, I guess, that they stand on. It's actually quite thick, so that might be a bit of a problem when it comes to putting the sand on. I'm actually going to put some quite coarse sand on, so it shouldn't be too bad. I finally finished my Duchy of Warsaw things. Yeah, I saw the models you put up there. Absolutely gorgeous. I've just pledged to the Kickstarter for the new cavalry STLs. So I've still got the loads of Murawski miniatures to paint as well. But I couldn't say that. I thought it was quite expensive actually for a Kickstarter. But obviously not too expensive because he's still got my money. There we are. I'm going to pop a little bit on the outside of the base there, just to hold it in place. There we are. Right. So first base secure, like it. Let's get these guys up. There we are. Put them over there. Martin says I'm doing lots of terrain bits. Yeah, mate, I need to work on a load of terrain actually. I've got a ancient Egyptian board's worth of terrain. I've done quite a lot of it, to be fair, but I do need to get that finished. It's for well, it's for 2 things. It's for the Battle of Alexandria, and it is for sort of Ptolemaic Egypt is the idea. So that's why all the pharaonic statues and stuff are all smashed up. But no, I'm really enjoying it. There used to be, well, there still is the shop still there, but they don't sell it anymore. Opposite the British Museum, there was like a tat shop on the corner that sold like miniature red buses and telephone boxes and things like that. And they used to sell like ancient Egyptian obelisks and stuff, and they were really good for painting up as statues and things like that. So yeah, that was really cool. I know the Battle of Alexandria was fought in Roman ruins. But you know, never let the truth get in the way of a good battlefield, I say. Let's try to pick the PVA glue off here. There we go. Pop it all in this pot, and I can just empty the pot later. There we go. So I've got these 2 command. I'm going to do those guys next. Bonjour, David. Catch an eagle at my club this afternoon. Oh, fantastic. Did you use the rules I put in the capture the colours thing? Oh, that's excellent. Well, I mean, it's not. It's terrible. You shouldn't be capturing eagles. I mean, like king's colours and stuff you can capture, yes. But not the eagle touched by the hands of Bonaparte himself. Oh, I didn't see that, Clive. No. Oh, that's good then. It was more for the the cavalry in the greatcoats, to be honest, because I'd rather be able to paint a cavalry regiment in 3/4 of an hour. So you can never have too much terrain. No, absolutely you can't. No, I saw the Warlord Games is Epic Games. Their Pappy Yacht Farm, which looks really nice, actually, really, really nice. The Prussian, the upcoming Prussian stuff. I was only thinking earlier on, I might do a series where I do collecting and painting a 50mm army. I've got a 50mm French army still in various bags, which I quite fancy doing. I thought about doing them as Italians, but I'll have to check the cavalry and see how they would fit in with the rest of the Italian army. So let's have a look at the Grenadiers. Once again, I'm going to position them in a way that I don't have the same figure twice in the same row, or one behind the other. Well, those two are the same, aren't they? So I'm going to have to swap those over. So he can go in the middle there. He can go there. And he can go there. There we are. I think that does it. And you'll know a good source for Russian Guard cavalry. Their uniforms tended to not be that much different to the line. The big one, I guess, would be the flag for the Chevalier Guard, because that was a vexilla, so like a cross banner, rather than like a flappy flag. That's a technical vexillology term, that is, there, guys. The learning never ends here. So yeah, I guess apart from them, I can't really think of much. And the Guard Cossacks. Now you can either get those from front rank, or, well, you might have to get them from front rank anymore. I got mine from Commissar Miniatures, who are a Russian company. I'm not really sure what's like, you know, if you can order from them anymore, to be honest. Good evening, Paul. Thank you very much. This is my brother Paul's entered the chat. You'll have heard me praising his painting many times. It's very sweet of him to say that my figures look very good. But I was watching his Twitch stream yesterday, and he's doing like a giant golden cannon at the moment. It's sort of like a Persian thing, and oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. The paintwork he's done is very, very good. So, welcome, Paul. This guy looks like he's drunk. Now, he is Spanish. So that's not necessarily the the worst thing in the world. But I'm joking, Spanish fans. I'm joking. Partly. Oh, hello, he is drunk. I think it's 1/72 scale. Oh, right, for 1/72 scale, Russian Guard cavalry. Well, again, I think the Zvezda are always my go-to. I don't know what's happening with those guys now. Paint scheme, yeah, I don't think they were hugely different to the others. I mean, the thing for most paint schemes, I find, I buy the Ospreys because I like them. Realistically, Google Images is probably the best source to go to, I find. The Ospreys are a little bit of a luxury, to be fair. If you check out Napoleon.org, so that's NAPOLUN.org, then they've got a chapter on the Russian Guard. So, I mean, don't read it too much, because you'll just basically read all the stuff I ripped off when I did my videos on the Russian Guard. But no, that's a good resource, actually, Napoleon.org. If there's Mont Saint Jean is very good for 100 days, but if you want anything that's not the 100 days, then yeah, Napoleon.org. There's still quite a lot of big gaps on that website. I don't know if he's still adding to it or what, but it is an excellent website. I would highly recommend. Where are we going? Let's get rid of this glowy. Now, what I was going to do is I was going to glue these unpainted ones to the bases and then paint them on the bases. But I actually think I can probably get them all on one of these plant labels, and then we're good to go with them. So I should say as well that I've been doing a little bit of work on these off camera, not on the main figs. So I wanted to do those all on the live streams. But I hope when it finally gets finished that you'll enjoy what I've done. I've been working on my Spanish commander's command base, so I know I'm building it up now. It's going to be very disappointing to everyone, isn't it? But no, I'm pretty pleased with it, I have to say. So I'm just trying to pull this glue off. This is absolutely phenomenal telly, I'm sure. It's very satisfying. I'm one of those weirdos that really enjoys peeling stickers off the front of, like, well, I used to enjoy it when you used to get DVDs. They have the stickers on the front. So, something I need to do now, really, is think about where the Fusiliers are going to meet the Grenadiers. So, I've got a base of each. He is not dried yet. So, I've got a base of each. So, there we go. And I've got 6 figures on each. So, I'm going to have 2 more bases. One with some Grenadiers on. One with not some Grenadiers on. So, looks like they've based them in 2s, one behind the other on here. That's very weird. Right, so that's okay though. We can do some dry runs. This is why I didn't glue the spare models on just yet, because it'll allow us to just mock up where everyone's going to go. You can also then write on the bases where people are going to go. I've done that before when, because I am a bear of little brain, I do forget these things. So that's going to be the frontage of the battalion. We're only going to be doing 24s. So the standard bearers. Now, here's an interesting one with the standard bearers. A lot of people put their standard bearers at the front. There's nothing wrong with that. They're usually officers or senior NCOs. So they're normally quite fancy. You've spent a lot of time painting them. Get them at the front. That's all good. I prefer putting them at the back. The reason I put them at the back is because it's the flag that's the important thing, not necessarily the standard bearer, in my opinion. And because of that, the flag is going to go over the top of the unit anyway, so they can be at the back and you'll still be able to see the flag. So I'm just popping these on there. Now, it doesn't matter that these 2 figures are the same, because I'm just doing them as placeholders at the moment. So the officer goes there. Drummer boy will go next to the officer. So I want a Fusilier and a Fusilier. And then I've got Grenadier there, Grenadier there, Fusilier, Fusilier. Right, okay, so I'm going to have to shuffle everyone over. Alright, so I'm going to have, I'm not a huge fan of splitting the command usually. I'm going to have these guys over there. And then these chaps on there, like so. Yeah, as I say, I'm not a massive fan of splitting the command usually. Now, the other way I could do it is I could just do 3 bases of 4. On that side, I'd have those 4, and then those 4. But I like to keep consistent basing within the unit. So I think I'm just going to have to suck it up. And I think I'm just going to have to split the 2 standard bearers over there. It's going to look a bit rubbish when the battalion's in column. But there you go. It's just one of those things, unfortunately. So let's get these placeholders out of the way. So as usual, we don't want our dudes stood next to each other if they've got the same pose. So those 2 can go there. This one I'm going to pop there like so. Just double check the ones we've got. Yep, they're both different. And then this one, yep, you can go. Oh, actually, he's quite nice. I quite like him. I prefer him to him, so he can go at the back. So let's get the old the glue ready again. So as you can see, planning the bases, it doesn't necessarily need to be a you don't need spreadsheets and stuff. It can be fairly simple, but it is important to plan them out if you don't like having the same sculpts around each other. I don't. I like a bit of variety where possible. That's something that the new plastics have definitely made very viable. So you think of something like Front Rank, who are considered to be, one of, if not the best figure manufacturers out there. They've got one pose for, say French Old Guard or something like that. So they can look a little bit like they're all automatons, which I don't hugely like. Unless I'm doing 7 years all Prussians, it's good for them. Now with this one, I'm going to move the standard bearer back a little bit. I'm going to move this grenadier. As you can see, I messed up where I put the glue. I'm moving forward a little bit, just to allow the flag and the flag pole a little bit of room. So there we go. Now this one here, I have purposefully put the standard bearers this way around. This one, his flag's going to go at an angle like this. Can you see that on the camera? It's going to go over like this. So it's going to bring the flag across and out. So this one's straight up. So hopefully that'll give you like a V shape in the middle of the unit. That's what will draw your eye. It's very similar to how people, when they advertise clocks, when you go to a clock shop or a watch shop or whatever, and they put the hands at 10, either 10 to 2 or 10 past 2. It's because that's a shape that draws the eye. So hopefully that will be the case here as well. Now I was going to do the flags today as well, but I haven't ordered the right flags. So, well, I have ordered them, they just haven't arrived. So that's a bit of a shame, but never mind. They'll probably arrive tomorrow. But it's something we can do next week, so it's not the end of the world. Let's get some more super glue on. There we are. There we are. There we are. And this guy was in the corner there, wasn't he? So we'll go standard bearer. There we go. I'm very much looking forward to cracking out the Zamora regiment, actually, with the black facings. I think they're going to be quite nice with the contrast against the white. I've just seen down here that there's no paint has gone in there. So let me quickly get a blast of Black Templar. Water it down because I want it to run into the creases here. And there we are. Let that dry, and that'll sink the pigment in there. Lovely stuff. So that's those guys stuck on bases at last. Hello, Richard. Hey, up from Glasgow yourself, my friend. Did you go to the Great Game in Glasgow? Soldier Shop Publishing has a huge series of books on Russian army and covers 100 years worth of uniforms. That is scary to know because I have been reading a lot about Potemkin and his wars, particularly against the Ottomans, and that's a that's a horrifying bit of information to learn because that could be quite an expensive bit of knowledge. That one didn't make it. Wish you had. Yeah, it's a shame, Richard, but well, it's one of those things. There we go. You'll have to tune into our big Linny game instead. I think we're doing every battalion that was there, with the possible exception of one of the reserve Prussian Corps. And I think we're just going to recycle those models, basically. But we'll only have to get involved if the battle is going badly for the Prussians. And it's like in We Were Soldiers, when Sam Elliott's character is told to get a rifle. And he says, "Sir, if it gets to the stage where I need a rifle, there'll be plenty of them lying around." And I think that's pretty much what we're going to do with the Prussian reserves. So that was my best Sam Elliott impression, that one, by the way. So I'm just going to quickly clean these guys up. I'm going to glue them onto the plant label. That's what I've been using to glue my figures to. There we go. Let's just get rid of that bit of flash on his arm. I will say one thing about doing these figures. I was tempted to buy some of the Flames of War Restec figures, and doing these has absolutely put me off. I'm now paying like 3 times as much for the out of production metal ones, which is not good. My Gebrij continue to have more and more really expensive, completely pointless units added to them. But hey ho, there you go. There we go. It's, this officer figure, I have to say though, I've been very critical of this box set. This figure is absolutely gorgeous. He's so nice. The detail on the face, the expression, the crispness of the detail on the uniform. Oh, it's just, oh, I can't wait. His sword's a bit naff, but I cannot wait to get this guy painted. Oh, I'm really looking forward to painting him. I'm glad I left him to the end. Someone who I'm not glad I left to the end is this drummer, who had very little detail on his face. And I just hate painting drummers. There you go. I said it. I hate doing them. So, where are we? There we are. There we go. So, now this extra Fusilier, I'm going to paint him as well. He can be a Zamora. He can be the start of that battalion. Or, alternatively, if I forget to paint him as a Zamora, which I almost certainly will, you can be the first member of the 2nd battalion of these guys. So, let's get some PVA glue on the go. Quick tip I've found with when gluing figures, if you're doing a bit of a session like this, is glue them out of the way. Because if you glue them in the way, then you pick them up and move them, they'll probably all fall off. So I know it sounds like an obvious bit of advice, but it's something that I've only just started doing myself. So there we go. So let's pop that on there. Let's get these guys going on. I like painting British drummers. The reverse jacket as a distinctive figure to you. Yeah, no. I think that's a fair point. For me, that's what makes it such a pain in the arse, though. I mean, the French ones in particular are just horrendous. Because, you've got into a rhythm, you've got all those figures painted, you're like, yeah, I've done all the white, yeah, that's sweet, I've done all the dark blue, yeah, it's all going well. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, I wear dark green and yellow. It's just like, oh, why? Why are you? So, yeah, it pisses me right off. You'll see various drummers of mine that are just terribly, terribly painted, because I just hate them. I just hate painting them. But yes, the British ones in the reverse colours are not too bad. I really like the Victrix drummers, actually, because they are like child-sized. Obviously, drummers were usually little kids. I think, is it Gringo 40s that do a child drummer for the French? He's quite nice as well. He's a nice model. So I've put them over here. I've left the officer a little bit of room because he's obviously got his sword sticking out there. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Happy with them. Actually, I say I'm happy with them. I'm not. I'm going to move him over here. I'm going to move this guy over on this end because when I'm left-handed, I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the stick in my left hand. My fingers won't be bumping up against the end guys. There we go. Spread them out a little bit. Jobs are good. Now this guy, I've only just glued him, so he's probably going to fall off at some point. This is the Spanish Generalissimo. This is the guy who's going to be in charge. I've glued him to this Pritt stick because he is metal. I don't want to be handling the actual figure too much because I'm worried I'm going to rub the paint off. So I've done his uniform. I've painted him with the Corax white. I've painted him with the Apothecary white. So I'm just going to start doing some of the details on him, and we'll have a go. Let me just have a quick look in my book. Take a look in the book, as Cosart Brooks has said. Where are we? I'll put them down here. And let's see what Spanish generals look like. Very spangly would be my suggestion. Let's have a look. Oh no, book 1 there, all a bit too professional in there. Let's check book 2. Once again, I'm sure you're all grateful for this excellent telly. Right, well, we've got this guy here, old Bling Nelson. We can use him as a base to work from, I think. He is from the Cadiz Urban Militia, though, so he's not necessarily in a proper uniform. Officer Light Infantry in the blue. Where's General Officers? So I guess this guy's probably the nearest one we've got. Now, he is from the Provincial Militia. So he's got the red facings on. Oh, yeah, he's just fallen off. So he's got the red facings on. So I think we may... I'm going to leave the facings on this guy for now. And we'll worry about those in the future. But what we'll start off with is the old classic. Let's get the flesh done. Now, with a lot of officers these days, I tend to do them wearing white gloves. But this guy, I'm going to do not wearing white gloves. I'm just going to do him twirling his moustache barehanded. So, let's... actually, I haven't said that. It looks like he might be holding his glove in his other hand. I think he is. So, now, for those of you not seen how I do these faces, this is Screaming Skull. The idea of putting this on first is it adds a bit of warmth to the Guilliman flesh that I'm going to put on later. If I just went straight for the Guilliman flesh, he'd look like he's dead, which obviously is Spanish, so he wants to be fairly swarthy anyway. I knew he was going to fall off. So he's going to be fairly swarthy anyway. So you might want to perhaps add a little bit of brown into this if you're doing darker skin tones. Games Workshop do now do a bit of a swarthy skin tone. But it's not great, to be honest. I don't think it's as good as the Guilliman flesh for coverage. So I'm going to go with just using this. I'm going to put it on reasonably thickly. And hopefully that'll the extra pigment will make it go a bit darker. I can always add a bit of brown into the mix if I need to as well. So here we go. I'm going to pop this on there. Love it. There we go. Rubber cement works better. Yes, no, it does. To be honest, it was just what I had at the time. Yeah, no, I did hear that actually, Matthew. Yeah, no, I did hear that. Nick Hindley managed to join live this week, painting some loft recovered minifig 25mm point French infantry. Ah, very nice. The classic. Never too much gold braid for a Spanish general. Absolutely. I've got my gold with me. We're going to go for his sash is going to be in gold. And I'm going to his cuffs. I'm a little bit unsure about. It looks like he's got a gold band before he gets to his cuff. So I think we'll probably do that, and it'll also allow for a bit of what's the word? A bit of contrast, I guess, between his sleeve and his cuff. You may have seen just then I put the plastic sheath thing underneath the paint to tilt it forward. And that's because these Games Workshop bottles are appalling, and the paint runs down this little lip and then goes down the back of the pot back down here, dries and stops it closing properly. If you tilt the pot forward a little bit though, then it won't do that, and it'll just drop straight back into the pot. So that's why I've done that. Little ex Games Workshop employee tip for you there. So let's get the gold on here. Now, I've actually done this in the wrong order because he's got a lot of loops and stuff here, which I probably could have done gold as well. But never mind. This guy looks like he's about to fly an aeroplane with all these loops that he's got on his cuffs. But never mind. I'm quite happy for this guy to be very, very garish, because you'll see when you see the command base, I've not made it necessarily entirely serious, shall we say. So has anyone got any new armies planned for the 2022 campaign season? We're getting into the summer now. So those long evenings let us paint a little bit longer. What's going to be marching forth from the painting tables for the autumn campaign season? Oh, right, 50 for a fiver on the old wine bottle corks. That's a very good idea. Yeah, I think that's what my brother does. He tends to drill into them as well. So he'll have like on his painting table, he'll have like 20 corks with like heads stuck on poles that he's been painting. It's a little unnerving. I'm not going to lie. Especially when they look as realistic as my brothers do as well. There we go. So I'm just doing the end of the brocade there. This is using Retributor armor. This is quite a brassy gold. This one, it's quite strong. That's okay. We're going to take it down a little bit when we go with the Agrax Earthshade. What I may end up doing is doing a quick edge highlight on this with silver, and then putting the brown wash over the top. That'll stain the silver brown, and it'll take some of the loudness, the brassness, the red, I guess, out of the gold. There we are. Let's get that down there. Just pick out his gorget here, which is really off to the side. I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who sculpted that one, but never mind. Now his sash, I was thinking of doing it gold actually, but I don't think I'm going to. He's got quite a bit of bling on the front of him there. So I'm probably going to end up doing that sash either silver or possibly red. If I do his facings red, I'll do his sash silver. If I leave his facings white, or possibly do them a different colour, then I might paint his sash red. I'm not quite sure yet. But with the generals, and particularly, shall we say the generals of a less well-disciplined and uniformed army, you can get away with just, doing some odds and sods like that if you want. I mean, look at someone like Murat. He decided what he was going to wear, and that's what he wore. There was no uniform restrictions for him. Terrifying because, yeah, it really is. Like I say, it is quite unnerving. If you took a picture, you'd get like those little boxes on your camera of saying like, oh, who's this person or whatever. So yeah, no, it is a little bit. Colonial project just starting 28mm 19th century Royal Marines. Oh, okay. And some African Askari for a club game. Oh, that sounds interesting. When I was at Vapnartak in York, I was going to pick up the Royal Navy Gatling gun from the Perry Sudan range. Not because I'm collecting a Royal Naval Force or anything, just because I thought it's a really nice model. It's a nice little vignette. I just thought it'd be nice to paint that dark blue and white they've got going on. This is like painting French, I suppose, isn't it? But no, yeah, there's some really nice colonial stuff out there. Anyone who's going to Partisan in Newark in a couple of weeks, there should be a Zulu War display game on that my good friend and friend of the channel, Richie, is putting on. So if you are there, make sure you check it out. Say hello. I might be hovering around. I promised him I'd help out for an hour or two. Doing some Russian Kraziers at the moment to support my infantry brigade. Chose the military order as they're awesome with the whole medieval knights vibe. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I love a bit of military order Kraziers. They're also black facings always look cool as well, don't they? Now this guy's got a he's got like an edging on the top of his boots there. So I'm tempted to do it because he's going to have white overalls on anyway. But I am going to leave it because I think what I'll do is I will highlight the trousers with Clorax white. So that's a slightly grey white. But then I'll highlight this this V in his light infantry boots. I'll do that with the Vallejo white that I use. That is very, very white. So that'll hopefully add that contrast between the white cloth and the white leather. There we are. Russian Quill. I forgot it was Wednesday. Oh no, never mind. So I normally get told off for disappearing as soon as I come home because oh, what time are we gonna have dinner? So I do this live stream every day. This is like the 7th one, but yeah, well, never mind. So there we are. Very Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, absolutely. I love the Russian. I've been listening to the Fall of Civilizations podcast, which has rapidly become my favorite podcast. I've heard all the episodes already. I'm just listening back to them, and I'm listening to the Fall of Byzantium at the moment, or the Fall of Constantinople. Which it's a good job Dan's not here today. He'd be very upset to hear that Constantinople has fallen. But yeah, no, the sort of, we're getting in. I mean, it's not Knights Templar, but there's very early Crusade type stuff going on. There's people talking about fighting the infidels and all that stuff. It's stirring stuff. The conquest. We just got to the conquest of Damascus. So there we are. Now I'm trying to avoid the loops that are on his bicorn. I don't really need to be honest, because I could always go back and paint them afterwards. But see, I've already got it over there anyway. But I might as well try and be neat, I suppose. There we go. Bung that one on down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the back of his bicorn painted. That should be much simpler because it's just plain. I'm going to leave his hair. I'm going to say he's got white hair. Now that could be white because he's old, or it could be white because he's got it powdered and cued. Speaking of powdered and cued hair, that's another thing I'm looking forward to getting at the next Newark show. Is I'm planning on getting some Saxon infantry. They can fight alongside my French in 1809. So that's next on the agenda. I just need a battalion or two of those. Not wanting to go over the top with those guys too much. All right, so there we go. So we've got the black and the gold done there, the two most important parts of them, surely. Now the base coats that I did for the flesh will be dry by now. No worries, Barry. We've probably got about 10-15 minutes left. It was nice to see you. People still use cues in 1809. The Saxons did. Yeah, they yeah. Yeah. They did go in for a little bit of it, which I certainly I mean, I think the Imperial Guard wore ponytails, not necessarily cues, but I think they wore ponytails. There we are, just layering this this flesh on. As I say, I'm going a little bit heavy because I want to get the extra pigment on. There we go. I think that really brings the model to life. Actually, I'm really pleased with that. I think he's looking pretty fine. I've been listening to who sang that? Busted, isn't it? Who sang year 3000. I'm gonna have that in my head all evening now. So yeah, no, I'm pretty pleased with him. Now, I said quickly before I was going to go that I was going to do some of the basing. Now, what I normally do is I've actually got a bin we've got like some trees out the front, and in amongst there I've got a bin, an old steel bin. It's got a big bag of builder's sand in there. So that's what I normally use to base my models. Now, keep it in a Citadel sand tub, but it's very fine. So I occasionally buy bits of big grit from who's that from? From Foreground, maybe? I hope it's not, because they've just gone bust. From them anyway, and I add that to the sand, and that gives me a little bit of some texture in there. But I've also got some cat litter, and I'm going to pop that in here as well. I'm popping this in here because I want it to be Spain. I want it to be quite rocky. Now I know Spain's not all rocky, but the idea here is to give the is to let people at a glance see that it's Spain. Now, as you can see, the colours of these rocks are a little bit so I'm going to end up painting the bases anyway. So there we go. Mix them in. Right, let's get some PVA glue. Yes, Barry, Foreground have gone bust. Yeah. Due to rising MDF prices was what they said. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not entirely sure how much MDF has gone up. But yeah, no, unfortunately, I think Foreground, while they priced themselves out of the market, they were phenomenal buildings, really, really nice, but so expensive. And I think, unfortunately, people don't tend to want to spend that much on their terrain, which I think was probably an issue for them. The yellow grass that I use on my bases is from Foreground. So I had to hit up Great Escape Games, who sell it at shows. And I bought their 5 remaining tubs of yellow grass. So there could be a grand rebasing happening in the future. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. So I'm just bunging this on here. This is just using a Citadel starter brush. They're absolutely shockingly bad brushes, but they're all right for doing stuff like this. I'm using the back end of it because I'm aware that there may be some still wet super glue on here, so I don't want to knacker the brush entirely if I don't need to. Well, yeah, exactly, brush. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I mean, like I say, their stuff's gorgeous. They are doing closing down sales, so yeah, it's worth well, they were. I don't know if they still are, but it's worth a look on their website if you can. Certainly, their fantasy buildings are absolutely beautiful. I mean, there's absolutely no doubting the quality of the models. It's just they were so expensive. A company I really like for terrain is TT Combat. Now they do some games as well. They do Carnival, which I've got far too many buildings for. They also do Rumble Slam, which I think is like a wrestling thing. And I want to say they do Marvel Crisis Protocol as well, but don't quote me on that one. So they do some really nice stuff. And the thing I really like about them and why I like to support them is they're very, very reasonably priced as well. I remember buying a bridge from them, like, 28mm bridge, and it was about £7 or something like that. It was crazy cheap. So it may not have even been that much, actually. It might have been like £4 or £5. Right, so I'm going to use to base them. Right, so I'm going to pop them in here. Plop. And then I'm going to individually drop a couple of these big rocks in the middle there, because I'm concerned they're just going to bounce out if I just pour them on. So I have a couple on the back. There we are. And then just pour the rest in. Oh no, they're certainly not going to. They're certainly not just going to pop off, are they? There we go. Get that. Get all the sand off their heads. Tap that. That's some great TV there. And there we go. Now I know General Dan. He uses Luke. Is it Luke APS? I think Luke AT. I think it's APS. He uses his basing formula, which I am a Yorkshireman and I'm too cheap to buy. So there you go. That probably would have been better though. It certainly would have been more consistent, which is important when it comes to basing. But no, I'm a cheap bastard, so that's what I'm making my own here. And here we go. Put that in there. Just put that over there. Also, for terrain, war bases do a really nice range of Prussian buildings. They're not too expensive either. Actually, they're pretty good value. There we go. So that's that one there. A little bit rockier than I would have liked, but never mind. Not the end of the world. Now it's a little bit sparse on the side there. So let me. It's how I normally base. I get it very, very thin. Let the water carry the PVA glue into there, and then. Sorry for doing this off camera, but it's just easier this way. There we are. Yeah, so that's just covered the gap that was in the middle there. So there we go. I think that's our first base fully based. It's going to need painting, but we can look at that next week. I've now got the Grenadier base to do, and then I think we are going to probably knock it on the head for today because I am absolutely Hank Marvin. Let's get some more PV out. Pull this back in there. There we are. One side. Luke APS, there you go. He's now Geek Gaming, is he? Right, okie dokie, fair enough. I know Murfield Miniatures sells a lot of his stuff, which I'm not entirely surprised by because they do a Luke APS certainly put him on the map, which I'm definitely not complaining about because I wouldn't have heard about them if it weren't for him. So if you like your 40k, he does ridiculously cheap models there. Fancy as well, actually. I know my Essex friends came up to an event we ran in Holmfirth. They spent an absolute fortune in Murfield Miniatures, I think. So again, I'm just running this between them. I can use the bristles on the actual plinths of the models because I know there's no super glue on there. But for the bases here, I'm just concerned about completely destroying the bristles when I don't necessarily need to. I don't mind if this brush gets destroyed because that's kind of what it's here for. But I don't want to do it when I don't have to. Bung that on there. There we go. Never liked MDF terrain. No, that's fair enough. I think Legrand rebase. Oh, don't, mate, don't. I'll wake up in a cold sweat thinking about that. No, that's fair enough. I think I've seen a lot of articles in Wargaming magazines where it says how to spruce up MDF stuff. I'll be honest, I never do it myself. I probably should do. But I find that, say, hovels in particular, I find offensively expensive. I mean, when you've done a model, all right, yeah, it's a nice model, don't get me wrong. But when you made that cast, when you made that mold, what, 40 years ago, I remember it, then I'm sorry, mate, I'm not paying like 40 quid for a single, medium-sized building. Nah, you can jog on, mate. But I should say, they are very nice. Of that, I will not deny. They are lovely looking models. We will get a Kingdom of Holland or Chasse video at some point. Maybe. Certainly Kingdom of Holland, definitely. Here's some more quality TV. There's a close-up of the back of my hand. Lovely. Shake that off. Got a bit Taylor Swift on that. Now there's a lot of rocks over here. That's going to be on the edge of the unit. I'm not massively keen on that. Let me get rid of a couple of them. Let's get rid of these three. There we are. Right. Okay, so there's a couple of bits I've missed in the middle here. So a bit more PVA. Graffiti spray paint is meant TK. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yes, no, I have heard that. I've also heard car primer as well. It's very good. To be honest, I've just used regular spray paints. I use Army Painter most of the time, and I found that fine with MDF. To be honest, a lot of people say it drinks the paint. I've never had that. I have to say, I don't know if the if TT might seal their MDF. I don't know, but yeah, no, it's never been an issue for me. I have to say. Put it on there. I'm trying not to get too many ginormous rocks on there, because I think that looks a little bit silly if you do that. So I'm trying to get some decent coverage, but not too many. There you go. Actually, that rock there, I can go there. The wetter the PVA, the more you can mess around with it, obviously, because it's going to take longer to dry. But the longer it takes to dry, the longer it takes to dry. So it can be a bit of a nightmare if you're wanting to paint it quickly. But as it is, we probably won't get around to painting these till next week. So I should warn you, there probably, or as in almost certainly, won't be a video this weekend. I know I didn't do one last weekend. Apologies for that. I felt really, really rough. But I'm actually away at a Warhammer tournament this week. So if I can get one recorded tomorrow, then I'll put it out on Sunday. But it's looking very unlikely because I still have quite a bit of basing on my army to do. So apologies for that. It's going to be the idea I had in mind for last week was a discussion of Wellington. And was he better than Napoleon? So it is a topic I want to cover, but it was because it was the anniversary of the Duke's birth on Sunday, so it was perfect time to do it. But I felt rough as a dog, so it may end up being a topic for the future. Just outside spray paint here. There we go. So that's those two bases done. I'm pretty happy with them. I think that's a good day's work. We've got them all based. We've got the final half dozen on a stick ready for undercoating and painting. So there we go. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to knock it on the head there. So I say thank you very much to everyone for joining me today. You playing Warhammer feels sinful. Yeah, I know. Well, I put on a Warhammer event a few weeks ago. It's a Warhammer Fantasy, I should point out. It's not 40k. So to me, that makes a difference. So yes, thank you very much for joining me, guys. I will hopefully see you next week. Possibly a video on Sunday, but I wouldn't hold your breath if I'm completely honest. I've got a bunch of Empire Halberdiers here. But here's one. So when I come back after my dinner, I'll be basing all of these. Fun for that one. But yes, so I will see you guys soon. Thank you very, very much for watching today. I'm really excited by how this Spanish project is coming along. I think it's really getting there. And I shall see you guys next time.